Welcome, Spartans, to Mission Debrief. We've played every mission in the mainline Halo video games, and now we're playing every mission from the rest of the games of the franchise in chronological order. Each episode will be discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a little lore along the way. If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts read on the show, email us, podcastevolved@gmail.com, or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. We'll be playing the From the Deep mission from Halo Wars 2 on the next episode. If you like what you hear and want to support the show, visit Podcast Evolved on Patreon. You can also receive a free audiobook trial by visiting audibletrial.com/podcastevolved. This episode, we're debriefing the Lights Out mission from Halo Wars 2. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krista Brown.
Bye-bye, Big D. Spoilers.
Round 2.
Fight.
Alright, last mission was the Cartographer. Professor Anders led the UNSC troops into the Cartographer, but the Banished blocked the way to the map room. Atriox's forces and swarms of Sentinels stood guard over a series of power conduits and had to be destroyed in order to gain access. Cutter approved the deployment of Wolverines and a Mac Blast EMP from the Spirit of Fire to aid in the attack. The UNSC eventually broke through, and Anders discovered that the Banished were tapped into Installation 00's vast network of portals, which enabled them to move their troops anywhere on its surface within moments. Now in Lights Out, Spartan Douglas 042 finally makes his triumphant return to help Jerome and the Spirit of Fire forces shut down the Banished's exploitation of the Ark's portal network. As the UNSC advances towards the main portal controls, they discover Decimus is once again standing in their way and looking for revenge. The date of the game is March 30th, 2559. Let's do a little bit of the intro. We don't have a cutscene again. We got a couple more missions hang in there.
What happened to all the cutscenes? I heard this game had cutscenes. I haven't seen any.
There are beautiful cutscenes. There's not as many as we would like. But, Dave, why don't you walk us through just kind of this intro cutscene, or the intro, dialogue that we get, the mission briefing.
Sure thing. So it gets off with Captain Cutter going, Atriox's forces are too strong, too well entrenched for us to fight head on, but he's spread his troops far and wide by abusing the Ark's network of portals. That's his biggest mistake. Isabel? Thanks to the information the Professor got from the Cartographer, we know Atriox's key controller for the portal network is nearby. If we destroy it, it'll cripple his ability to use the portal network. Captain Cutter, some of Atriox's troops will be stranded and the rest won't be able to redeploy easily. It'll give us a fighting chance. The bad news, says Isabel, is we've detected mass deployment of Banished forces in the area, which means Atriox knows of our plans. The Banished will do everything they can do to defend the portal control hub. Cutter, they need to neutralize each of the portals an approach and control hub or will be overrun. To make things worse, our scouts believe Decimus, Big D, arrived a few hours ago and he'll be looking for a rematch. To make sure he doesn't walk away from this one. Jerome then chimes in, looking forward to it, sir. I mean, it could be Jerome, it's impossible to tell.
I want an Isabel impression, David.
Oh man, I don't know if I can do...
You're supposed to be, reading these characters' lines.
No. I was thinking about it, I was just like, no.
He was going to try.
You're not going to humiliate yourself
eventually
on the podcast? That's what we pay you for,
no.
David. Damn it.
No. Never.
Alright, the mission summary is cripple the Banished portal network. That's pretty much the entire point of the mission. Besides, little stuff at the very end. The scouting report is portals can be used to travel across the battlefield when no longer longer under banished control. So as we go through the mission, we need to destroy the little controls for each individual portal, and once we can destroy that, then we can start to use the portals as opposed to the banish, warping into our space. The objectives, as we go through them, the main objectives: locate and destroy the 4 banished teleporter hijacking devices, cross the chasm. There's a little funny story I have about that. Destroy the banished control node, and then defeat Decimus. Those are the 4 main objectives. Optional objectives: rescue all 10 squads of UNSC prisoners, destroy all 4 banished devices before reinforcements arrive. That's kind of key as you're going through, especially on more difficult levels. Also take out the Reavers, which we'll talk about in a bit. The Reavers without suffering Hornet casualties, and claim all 4 base expansions. The bonus objectives, the first one is hard anyway. You have to keep track of them. Complete the mission with all 10 squads of prisoners freed and alive. So somehow you have to keep track of those guys and kind of put them off into a hotkey or however you guys do it on the Xbox to just kind of keep them alive or just leave them behind. I don't know. Did either of you guys mess with that one, or did you even try that bonus objective?
I failed every single bonus objective. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally forgot to even do that.
I mean, pops it up on the screen. Chris, did you even try to keep them alive?
Oh no, I'm playing heroic. There's no way.
Yeah. You need
Everyone died at one point.
You need their blood.
So.
That's right. The last bonus objective is don't let any units get destroyed in the capital ship bombardment zone. And so I believe that is this dead battle zone that we'll talk about that's in the middle of the map.
The laser area.
Yeah, exactly.
It also includes the boss battle at the end, which I didn't realize because that's where I failed it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I lost. Do you know? We'll get there.
Oh, I lost that way early.
The very,
that bastard
very end.
kept lasering me from across the map.
Part time is 30 minutes, although once again, Strategy Guide says 60 minutes. Scoring goals: gold is 100,000, silver is 50 to 99, bronze is 18 to 49. There is 1 skull to unlock, and that's after you get all of the prisoners released. That unlocks Pestilence, which means all player units slowly lose health from the moment they're built. Yikes.
Oh, hell no.
But your final score increases if you do that.
Not worth it.
Yeah, that's something.
You can't turtle.
Right. All right, Krista, what do we got on the battlefield? We got lots.
Oh, we got lots of stuff. They give you a lot of toys to play with. So we have hero units. We have Jerome, and we have Zombie Douglas. Very strange. Alice is off being a badass, of course, so we're happy she's there. The zombie's a really weird design choice, I think, but Jerome's really cool. We also have a fire base. We start with a command center with 7 structure slots. We have units, Marines, upgrade to grenade throw, so you can get those upgraded. We, of course, have the supply pad and generator, which both can be upgraded. And we have the barracks, which can be upgraded twice. And that has Hellbringers and Cyclopses. Don't even bother making that, just throw that in the trash. We also have the garage, which has vehicle upgrades 1 and 2 with Warthogs and Wolverines. Throw that in the garbage too, you don't want to play with that either.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And then we have the air pad. Air upgrade 1 and 2, be sure to get that, and then just make all Hornets. Just Hornets forever. Only Hornets. And then, of course, we have the armory, which you should do eventually. You can fortify the base twice. You can speed up your troop production twice. And you can add plus 20 to troop population with reinforcements. Very good. Also, we have a lot of Spirit of Fire abilities. Restoration drones, which you can upgrade. Do it. Archer missiles, which you can upgrade. Do that too. You can get Battle Hardened, which you should get. Lotus Mines, just throw that in the trash. That's useless. And then you get ODST drop, which you could. You have to spend 2 leader points, which I don't think is worth it. I'd rather upgrade my restoration.
So they're finally introducing some of this, unique strategy. There's a lot of abilities that you get over the course of the game, but you need to unlock them. So for whatever reason, like you see ODST on your wheel, but you can't use it yet, and so you need to use 2 points to then be able to buy it with your 3rd point.
Oh man. Oh, I see. Okay. So it doesn't cost. Because I know Battle Hardened is like that too. You have to like use a point to get Battle Hardened.
Yep.
It's
Yep,
weird.
exactly.
It doesn't really like explain that anywhere either. So you're just confused why you can't buy something.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it
you have
does.
to spend points before you can get to it.
It does way back in the tutorial I mentioned.
It's like in passing
but
though. It's one of those.
Well, I'm saying in the actual tutorial.
Oh, yeah.
Not the early missions.
No
Yeah.
one did that.
I did.
Well, I had to do it for an achievement, but I didn't pay any attention. Also, we have the banished units, because of course we need to fight something. So we have Decimus 2000. We have some ground units. We have Grunts and Brutes. I said it right this time. Jump pack Brutes, Elites, Hunters, and Warlords. Oh my god. And then we have some vehicles. We have Ghosts, Choppers, Marauders, Wraiths, and Reavers. Oh my god, why is there so
what
many?
are those things?
They kind of look like ostriches.
They do. Walk around with a bunch of guns on their shoulders.
Yeah. We do have some air units. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I hijacked one of those things.
Was it
those
worth
are
it?
hijackable.
It seems useless.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. There's not enough.
It
air
only
units.
attacks air, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything. Yeah.
And they can like jump around. They can do little jumping maneuvers.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it. We have some air units. We have the spirit dropships, banshees, and those healing engineers that are bitches. Holy shit. I hate when they send 2 of them down and they just keep healing each other. It drives me mad. And then we have the leader powers, which make me extremely sad. We have the glassing beam, which just will destroy everything you've ever loved. And we have the vortex lightning that doesn't seem to work on hornets, which is nice.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So if you have all hornets like I did, you just don't even give a shit about the vortex lightning.
Will he deploy it and it just won't do anything?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it just does less damage to air units or what. But I wasn't losing any units when he was using it, or maybe I'm just dumb and didn't notice. That could be the second. The second option is probably the correct one.
Is that his big boss battle burst?
No, that's this little ball that comes out and goes. Bzz, 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 bzz.
I
Yeah.
don't think that even happened in normal.
It's
Never
on
see it.
heroic.
Alright,
yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the banished can also buff their units and give them the veteranacy thing, which is impossible to pronounce. Yeah, so there was like 3-star people trying to murder me, and I was very sad.
Yeah.
And
sure.
that's it. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, this mission, we get a lot. There's a big map. We're not used to that, and then we get a lot at our disposal. There's more to come, but we get a lot of that at our disposal. So I thought it made the most sense for our expert Krista to walk us through this. A lot of it is kind of point to point until the very end, and then maybe we can expand a little bit from there. But officially, according to the guide, we're at the start of Act 2. So all this other stuff that we've been doing is just a little warm up.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and now we've entered Act 2 of the mission. So,
The real Halo Wars 2.
the real Halo Wars Act 2. Act 2. So the gameplay cut, David, you just want to take us through that, and we'll hand it off to Krista. There's, you see these hornets flying overhead and giving a little scouting report.
Yeah, it's a small little thing where these 4 hornets are coming back through the mission. They're kind of giving you a little update that's saying like, yeah, there's strong forces in the area. We're probably not going to make it back without a fight. They're not going to make it back at all. Spoilers. These new units show up. They're these weird walkers with rocket turrets, and they just like spam rockets out of each side, and they just totally annihilate these hornets. And then the mission pretty much starts then with Jerome coming in with a bunch of units.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it. They've just kind of scouted out the first kind of area where the first portal is.
Well, then we walk
Nothing
around.
else.
We like.
Yeah, sorry.
Around.
Then you get control. You have some Marines and 3 Cyclopses. and it's pretty straightforward. You can kind of just move forward for the first kind of bit. There's like a slight path diverging, and right before you get there, there's like a little in-game cutscene when like you start fighting. Like units get revealed at like the first kind of portal.
Yeah.
From the Fog of War. Once you take that down, a wraith comes in, but the game immediately goes into a little cutscene, and Douglas arrives and takes over the wraith, and then starts turning it on the enemies. And he pretty much stayed in that wraith for a good portion of this game for me. Nice. He eventually got wiped by Decimus' first wave, but it was he was cool. It was a nice reveal, because I totally forgot that he comes back into this eventually. So there's a little bit of banter between him and Jerome, which I kind of liked. But I think Douglas is himself like not a very. You think he's kind of like Chief. He doesn't say too much in the same way Jerome does either. Alice is the one that has the bit of personality, I think, between the three of them.
Yeah, Douglas.
Douglas
is a little closer to Alice. He has some dialogue that I noticed in this one. His comment right away. I wish this was a cutscene. Like, how cool would it have been? Like, if you just start this and then they just give you like a 30-second cutscene where Douglas like drops out of the sky, rips a brute out of.
That
this
would be
thing,
dope if it was like
rips him in half.
if he came in ODST style and just came out and just fucking took over something straight instantly. That would have been dope.
Yeah.
Which is something I love.
As he comes in, he says, "Room for a passenger," which is that's a good line, right? Coming in, good little line here.
It's alright.
And then so for some reason I noticed more the banter, the dialogue that the Marines have in this mission. And
you used Marines?
What do they say? Well, no, they're just there. Like, especially in this beginning section, you have some Marines and they're chatting to each other. And so one of them, once Douglas comes in, and then you wipe out this initial little wave of enemies, one of them says, "2 Spartans? This mission's in the bag." And then they have another one a little bit. Once you get a little, Chris is going to take us from here, but once we get to the chasm, they have another good line I'll chime in with. But so, Krista, why don't you take us in this opening area? Take us around to I don't know, walk us through it.
So I hope everyone's thinking with portals for this mission.
Yes.
You definitely need to. So this.
Oh, sorry. There was an interesting point before you go on that note. In the guide, I read that and I don't know if this is in the trivia, David, but the original plan for this mission was instead of using the portals, was to use the Pelican drop, the Pelican transport.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah.
Nice. But that was. I mean, that would have been cool to see the Pelicans in, but it also at the same time would be a little more clunky because you'd have to group all your guys in an area and then move them from point to point. Versus.
That's exactly what the portal is, though.
Yeah.
You move all your guys
the portal's
to one
stationary,
area,
and you can just kind of point them at something. But anyway, it's a different way of doing it. But portals are all right.
Okay. So the map is weirdly laid out because half of it is just a murder death zone for some reason.
Right.
So you have to use the portals to get around. The first one you come to is just kind of teaching you that, hey, you can use portals. You're like, wow. So you can use the portal, and then on the other side of the portal, there's a light bridge that you can extend to get back to that area. I don't know why you would go back there. There's nothing there. Of course, there are supply crates everywhere on the map. We're not going to really go into every location of those. But if you see them, get them.
So the at that point, so when you see that first bridge that you need to activate, one of the Marines chimes in. He goes, "How are we supposed to get across that?" And then the second guy goes, "I heard there's a trick you can do with grenades," which is very good.
No!
Oh,
isn't that cool?
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Oh my god, that's great.
So if you look up on Halopedia, you can look up like the main dialogue of all the main characters, but I haven't found like the banter that I just mentioned between the Marines and whatnot. And like we've talked about how all the Hellbringers are from northern UK. So anyway, that hasn't been captured from what I've seen. Maybe somebody has out there, but it's not on Halopedia. So you have to listen in to some of that stuff to get those little nuggets.
Some nugs. Some good old nugs.
Some sweet Easter egg nuggies.
So I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. So once you get out of the first portal, you're pretty much greeted with your initial base. which is the nice 7-slot base that you can put lots of stuff in, and that's where you're going to want a turtle, even though Decimus is going to send lasers to come and murder you. You get a great view of lasers from your doorstep as well. For some reason, they just keep bombarding nothing in this specific area of this map, and if you go there, you'll die, so don't go there.
Yeah. Before you get there, too, you can save those Marines.
Oh, yes. Yeah, there are a bunch of people you can save on the map. Do them. There's
Save
Marines,
them.
there's some, Warthogs, Hellbringers. I think
the first one is like some Hellbringers and the Cyclops. That's the first one. And then after that,
Then there's another big cache of them a little later, and that's when you're gonna get to the second base-ish is when you can kind of go over there and do that. So the first base, you're gonna want to turtle up. You're gonna want to upgrade everything, get everything ready, make sure you have a full team of only Hornets. If you have anything other than Hornets, just send them into the laser field, and that'll take care of them.
Right. Just clear them out.
Yep, bye-bye. And then you're going to go through the portal that's depending on where you're kind of looking at the base. If you're facing towards the death laser field, it's going to be on the right side of the base. So you're going to destroy the satellite there. You're going to go through that portal. It's going to take you to this little area with these 2 mini bases and a whole lot of Covenant. Is this where
Covenant?
Not
What?
Covenant. Banished.
Wait,
Whatever.
back?
Oh my god, the Covenant are back! Jeez!
They're back, surprise.
Another person. And the Flood are here too! Oh my god.
And what is the Didac doing here? Oh my goodness.
So Cortana, get out of here.
Real quick before you go, there's 2 points. There's one before you actually get through that portal you just mentioned. Decimus is there. He's like, hey.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you suck,
taunting
bitch. And then he leaves.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll see him here in a second again.
He taunts you a couple times throughout the map and just kind of says, "Oh, you suck." You're like, "Oh, okay, bye."
Yeah.
Then he leaves. Sometimes a warlord is this the area with the warlord?
He's on the other
little
side
area?
of this light bridge. Yeah.
He's a pain in the ass too. So go take care of that pain in the ass. You get 2 mini bases, which are pretty much useless for the rest of this, because you're about to get a whole nother base. So just put down 2 supply pads on these 2 mini bases.
The only thing that I would have done there, and I didn't think of this until later, is put an armory in one of those.
Yes.
Drop it in there.
I think I actually did that, and then once I upgraded everything, I destroyed it and put another supply pad down.
Yeah.
I've started doing that now as well. I remember to do it.
I mean, once you use everything in the armory, it's useless. Just get rid of it, throw it in the trash.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna go through the other portal, and it's going to lead you to your very own base. But the base is really nice, but your neighbors aren't really nice, and they're 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes. It's like a little stroll to your neighbor's house, and also your neighbor wants to kill you. So that's interesting. That was a very interesting encounter on Heroic, because I was only using Hornet units. And of course my Hornet units were dying quite a bit, because I was just kind of sending them over there. And so my base was set up with 5 supply pads and 3 air unit bases. Because then I could turn them out really fast if I had 3 separate ones. So I was just doing that. See. So I'd put
That's
2
crazy.
on each of them, and then they just
building Hornets.
Yeah. It was fun. It worked eventually. It's a very strong arm way of going about this mission, but it was quite fun to do it.
Yeah. Once you upgrade them, because upgraded Hornets are pretty decent.
Yeah, and then you just keep turning them out with 3 different air pads.
So did you not have any ground, any Marines or anything on the ground? You just were flying around?
2 Spartans.
Oh, you had your Spartans, so they could pick up all of the supplies and
that's what they did. They picked up stuff.
They were just grabbing shit for you.
And they were taking the lightning bolts as well. All of those points as well. Yeah, they just picked shit up for me.
They're just workhorses.
I really treat my Spartans well.
That's good.
This is an interesting encounter, so if you guys want to talk about how you beat the base, the nasty neighbors.
Well, David, did you go get the reinforcements that are kind of to the I don't know what direction?
Like below it,
down,
kind of.
yeah, below the second base.
I totally forgot to even look for anything else.
Oh, really?
After this, so, yeah, no, I totally made a mess of that. Because I figured when I saw, when you first teleport through and you see like there's like two snipers kind of like running down. And I attack and kill them, and then I kind of swooped up to the left, found my place, started building a base, and immediately got attacked. And I just slowly moved my forces towards the base, found it was a base, went round to the right, took out the base while kind of like ignoring everything to the other side of it, and then totally forgot to even check back down below. I figured it was another killing ground. I didn't even bother to check. So I never found any other units in this.
They're like marked on the map. There's like a cluster of 3 of them. So I just went over there because they're totally also like really close to the portal markers as well. So I initially thought they were like different portal markers. So I went over there and I'm like, la la la. Oh, this isn't the objective. I guess I'll save them anyway, even though they're not air units. And then they all died.
So, David, are you saying you triggered the battle with your neighbors right away before you were able to build up your army?
Neighbors.
I had some army built up.
Okay.
Before like is it the first or second teleport? There's like the first teleport takes you to like this place in the middle, and there's like a garrison point either side of it, and like a power node in the middle. I stayed there for like a while while I turtled up a bit and built up some resources, and then I triggered a fight there and lost pretty heavily. I just had the bad combination of units.
That's where you go across the bridge,
Yeah. And then eventually when I went across the bridge, I was ready for it then, and I kind of built up and kind of moved around. I did pretty well up to the base, and then I remembered, holy shit, I've got ODSTs. You better believe I was using ODSTs. And then I was just waiting for shit. I just sent some things just to die to free up space so I could bring in some ODSTs.
Because they're 12. That's a lot of units.
It is. They're pretty heavy in terms of like their cap, their kind of population cap. They're pretty hefty. And I had a shit ton of resources this time, so that was like my limiting factor, was I just couldn't bring them in quick enough.
Sure.
But it's kind of what I miss about the first game, that you could just build those things up and just spam them, just shoot. It's cool. But
yeah, so if you build up you can sit there and build up this second base that you get. You can get turrets on it if you want. You don't really need it, but just kind of what you can do. What Krista did is build a bunch of air pads. However you want to build your army. I think I was balanced. I ended up using some Cyclops in general because they do pretty good against vehicles. Like those Reavers, they can take them down pretty quick. I didn't use any Hellbringers. A couple Marines here and there because they're decent, but you don't trigger the battle with your neighbors until you actually head up a little bit. So you can really just turtle, get 100 units, and then go down and free your the prisoners. And then if you do that, so obviously you need to get the reinforcements so you can get up to 100 units. But then if you go when you're at 100, go free the prisoners, and then you get up to 100. Well, I had 120 going into that final headbutt against the banished base, which was nice.
Good
No
shit.
comment.
It's good shit.
You guys are like, what?
It's good, yeah.
That's big brain
anyway.
stuff. You're thinking with portals now.
The other tip, I guess, is the final portal that you need to destroy for the objective is to the I'll just go to the left of the base, the banished base. But the way to shut it down, you can kind of see the string, the conduit strung up around. It's actually behind the banished base. So if you want to get the objective where you have to destroy the portal node before any of the banished come through, you have, instead of taking out the base right away, you got to go up and destroy the controls to that portal right away, and then that will eliminate any reinforcements coming through that, and then come back down and get the base on top of that. And the base isn't too built up, at least it wasn't on normal. I did a little bit on heroic. Well, I did beat it on heroic, but I don't think the base was any further built up for that. Krista, did you do like archer missiles? Did you take the space down pretty quickly, or did you have any?
It took like maybe
problems?
2 waves because the engineers kept healing it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I used I used 2 waves of Archer missiles and then just a bunch of. I just kept sending Hornets in to die, and
Yeah.
I only had them focusing on the base as well, so all the infantry was like messing them up, but we got there.
Yeah. David, any variants on your attack up to this point?
Well, pretty in terms of the units I had was pretty different, but
What were you rolling with?
did have a lot of. I had a lot of ground units. I kept almost all of my Cyclopses alive from the initial deployment, up to near the end.
Mm-hmm.
Hellbringer, I made 2, and I was like, "No, this is stupid."
Yeah.
They died like straight away.
Amazing.
So I did experiment. I was like, I felt like there was a lot of Banshees, so I did make 2 Wolverines, but like, there's not really enough to warrant the need of Wolverines.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I don't think. So I kind of like sent them off to die, and I built 2 Warhogs just to build Warhogs, just
Right.
because I had this. I was like, I'll just build these 2 Warhogs, send them off. So I sent them through the last portal first, and like scouted out the map around Decimus and that kind of area first. And I kind of like, because I forgot you could like build a few turrets and stuff
Yeah.
like that in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So like I kind of did that, cleared out 1 turret area, and kind of built my own, and then sent them off to kind of trigger the event.
Yeah.
Kind of open up the base. And then when they died, I did a lot of Marines and some Cyclopses and as many
Oh, a lot of Marines. Okay.
Hornets as I could get. Yeah, I did. I like the Marine unit.
I do too.
I like them. Yeah. So
The
That's kind
before we
of-
talk about the Decimus fight, there are 2 power nodes that are kind of in weird spots. The one you get that's through right in front of you through one of the portals, that's like the most obvious one. But then there's one, it's like in the killing zone field. Did you guys notice that one at all? I think
Oh, no.
I like when I'm playing, I'm like doing all units, and then I'm directing them to to a spot, and then if I select all units, the first base that's kind of down to the south of the map. If I do all units and like a unit is just popping out, just being built, then he'll like sprint through the killing field
Yeah.
to try to meet up with everybody else. So you have to be careful with that. But then I noticed like right through there, off onto to the left, there's a power node and like a whole bunch of Banish just hanging out and some silos and stuff. And it's just a really weird spot. I don't know why you would even want to try to get it. I ended up doing it just to say I could do it. But it was just a weird spot. So you can get a power node there, and then there's another power node to the, I guess, just below the final portal before you go into the Decimus fight. But at that point, like, you have so many resources that you don't even need it at that point. I mean, my numbers were just ticking up. I didn't care about getting advanced supply pads at that point or anything like that. So just weird that they would put those in there. I don't know if there's an achievement tied to them or what, but just extra little things you can do in the map.
Yay!
Yeah. So, Krista, why don't you take us through your encounter, your Decimus encounter? How did he do against all your Hornets?
Sure. The nice thing about Hornets is that they don't need to use the portals, so you can keep spamming all units and then just kind of fly between that gap into that little island, which was really nice. The Hornets were actually pretty good. At one point, I had kited Decimus all the way to the portal, so none of the backup units were around. So I just wailed on him like that for a while. It wasn't that difficult. I think I had to go back and like just create a whole bunch of more units to support the ones I already had at one point. But other than that, it went pretty smoothly. Decimus isn't super tough. He kind of like runs around a lot and does the lasery thing, and I think I got rid of the satellite before I even killed Decimus too, because he was off like being stupid somewhere on the map, and I'm like, well, I mean, he's completely left the giant satellite completely unattended, so I guess I'm gonna do that. And then I murdered him.
So you didn't you I think you have to kill that control node, whatever that thing is, for the portals, that big giant thing.
Yeah.
You need to take that out before he even shows up, I believe.
Oh, is it? Is that it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds more
that will trigger him to come in.
And then he's pissed off. He's
Yes.
like, you ruined everything. I'm like, well,
Then
I
he's
mean,
all
you weren't
mad.
even here.
Where'd you go?
Stupid, yeah.
Then he shows up. David, how'd you do?
Against Decimus?
Mm-hmm.
he kind of kicked my ass the first time. I'd go to unit setup, and I kind of remembered what I did. My tactic before the first time was kind of build up the turrets, and he gets distracted with the turrets, so kind of move your units away from him, and kind of like he kind of goes after the turrets is kind of what we did. But then I was kind of like, okay, I went back to tried to multitask, tried to go back to my base and get units built up, and have the what am I trying to say? Have the rally point on the actual
The portal.
teleporter, so that they just come out and come through. So I thought I was being really clever doing that, and by the time it went back to him, he had wiped everybody.
Oh god.
Like I think it's because I got him down to where he kind of becomes immune and does his little ability. And so pretty much just the Spartans were left and one ODST guy.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh shit. So I got them all the way back, brought them down, and kind of brought him on a little loop. He kind of followed them for a little bit, met up with my other turret, and I kind of just kept moving them past. And then, okay, I need to go build up my forces. And then when I came back, he had like obviously self-healed. He was back to full health and everything. So like, okay, now I got to do this again. But I got him really quick, and it was weird. I actually got him with Lotus Mines as well.
Oh my god,
okay.
they did
So, like,
something?
Yeah, I kind of ended up using like all my powers on him kind of more or less once. He got some reinforcements through. I think he still has reinforcements still come through the portals. No, I think it's just by.
There's spirit dropships that drop in.
Yes, that's it. So I knew I did an airstrike on something.
Yeah.
So I airstriked some of his support units. I had him all the way to. There's like, let's say there's a turret in a little narrow canyon, just to, let's say, the left of where he starts.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So that's where I trapped him. I dropped Lotus Mines when he started like, oh, I'm going to do my big power move. I moved all my units away from him. He did his big power move. I dropped Lotus Mines between him and my units, and he ran right over them, and they did loads of damage on him. I was like, oh shit.
Okay.
And then I pretty much had him then. I just self-healed on my guys and had dropped another unit of ODST on the other side of him, had him kind of surrounded, and he kind of went down. Again, this is not normal, but it was pretty cool.
Man,
quite enjoyable.
Decimus is super dumb.
He is, yeah. I did 2 Spartan jumps as well, like on him with my
nice.
2 guys at that stage. So I felt really good about that. I was hoping for like some kind of kill animation, but I didn't. He has a little speech to give as he dies.
Nothing
Really kicks off.
He leaves the battlefield at one point. And that's a scripted event. So once he gets to about
That could be when. Okay, that could be what I did, and he came back healed then.
yeah, he about 40% health. He'll leave. He'll like jump off onto one of the cliffs because there are banished enemies on the cliffs throughout this arena here, and he'll jump off to the side. He'll heal up to 100%. Meanwhile, you could just kind of hang out, go around, heal up your units. There will be like an orbital strike at that point until he gets back up to 100%, and then he'll come back into the battle. So you have to take him all the way back down one more time. The arena itself, it's this big area, but I feel like it's wasted space. Yeah, well, there's an island, and then there's a couple different paths that you can take above and down below, and it's kind of like a little figure 8 situation. But I didn't really use any of it. I didn't feel like I needed to because all of the turrets were right in the main area, at least in the area where you encounter him right away. So I built some turrets, and those help chip away at him. And then when he jumps off, and I kind of actually just went down to the cliff that he was at, tried to avoid the orbital strikes as much as possible, and then he jumps back in, and then you just pummel him as much as possible. The red, the strike zone comes on screen. Move your guys out, let that do its thing, move them back in. So I don't know. It's a weird because it was exactly the same as the first time we fought him. It didn't seem like there was much different mechanic. Maybe the red zone was a little bit bigger in this mission, but it didn't feel like it was any different from the original fight. Chris, did you have any thoughts on the mechanics of the fight?
And like you said, it's not very different. The portals kind of give you a bit of a different kind of vibe to the fight because you can escape through the portals when he's doing his orbital strikes and stuff, and then he can't damage you. So that's kind of a different layer. When you're not on normal, when you're on heroic and legendary, the turrets are literally just a waste they pretty much
Yeah.
die instantly. So they add a little bit on normal to kind of change the fight up a little bit, but not much. And then the only thing that really changes in this is that he just heals himself with a bunch of engineers and him running off screen and stuff like that. But like you said, it's not very different at all.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like this whole mission, and even leading up to this point, maybe a little bit I've done in the previous missions, but this mission specifically, I never really felt like I needed to separate my army into 2 or 3 armies. This one, you're just kind of moving. I just moved my death wad around pretty much the entire time, and took losses, just refilled my units, built new ones, and then just continued my death wad. Even with when I went and saved the the prisoners towards the end of the mission, I maybe kept a couple of my units up at the top, but by the base, just in case some banished came to mess with me. But other than that, it was just like, okay, I'm going to move my full 80, 100 units down. They're just going to sit in the middle of that area, wipe everybody out, and then I'm going to take my prisoners with me, my new buddies, and move them up. So I don't know. I feel like they're trying to make this mission, at least especially the end, a little more strategic. But there's no real reason to, in my mind. So I don't know. It's an interesting mission because it's using portals, and there's more to do. There's multiple bases, but you kind of leave the other bases behind, right? Like that initial base you build up, but then it's just too big of a pain in the ass to bring all the units that you're building from that base up to the top base. It doesn't really make any sense. So that base just becomes a supply base.
Yes.
And then by the end of the mission, you have so many supplies you don't even know what to do with. So then you're just using that final base just to pump out reinforcements as your units are dying inevitably to Decimus. I don't know. Any other thoughts, David?
No, not really. It's a pretty simple mission, pretty straightforward. I actually enjoyed it going through, given that it's just like pretty simple, move to point, move to point, move to point. Mm-hmm. I liked the theme of the mission, like the story behind it. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like, okay, you kind of lose track of the scale of the arc. Like when you're down, it's like it is ginormous, and for Atriox to like obviously spread his units around, he doesn't have a massive fleet. The arc is still massive. That even if he did have a big fleet, it's not ideal for getting units around. So it makes sense that, and it is impressive that he has such good control. I think they make a comment about it over like the arc systems. Mm-hmm. So I like the idea of going in and dismantling the portal system on him and stranding his units in different places, and like tactically that's really sound. I think that's kind of really clever of Cutter and stuff like that. I kind of like that.
That's the only way they have a chance, right? Because there's just too many banished.
Yeah, and I like that you're on the back foot, and you Cutter thinks of creative ways to get around it, mm-hmm. and to kind of even the battlefield. I know this mission ends on like holy shit, everybody get back to base, yep. We're under attack. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of cool. I do enjoy that.
Yeah, they set the seeds. The next mission plays into that a little bit, but the very end dialogue is like, hey, we're getting attacked by some banshees. More or less Atriox is pissed off at us and he can see us, so he's just going to try to attack our main ship. The boss dialogue is I don't know. I wrote it down. I'll read some of the highlights, but Decimus is just constantly talking shit. He just constantly, and Douglas gives it back to him a little bit here and there, so that's fun. At one point, let's see, at the very beginning, Decimus says, "Human filth, do you know what you have cost me? My salvage operation, the portals." So we've been pissing this guy off, since the beginning, and then Jerome just says, "My heart bleeds."
And I like his response to like, it will.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. The dialogue is very good. I think the writing is top notch in this game. Then Douglas will chime in at some point. And he says, "It looks like it's, or I was looking for a second round with the ringmaster, but his whipping boy will do just fine." So Douglas is pretty good at talking shit, I think, too. Let's see here. Mm-hmm. Oh, Decimus just kind of goes back and forth with him a little bit. He talks about how he killed all the other humans in the base. That pisses Isabel off. So there is one line specifically that I was drawn to, because this, remember last episode, last mission, we talked about, we don't really know what their motivation is. It hasn't really been told to us yet. This is at least a hint at the motivation. So Decimus says, and this is almost when we have him all the way down. He says, "I'm impressed, humans, but Atriox will ensure you will never leave the Ark. We will control this place, and then the Banished will take all of your worlds."
Why would the Banished want all of our worlds? We have quite a few of them. What are you doing with all those worlds?
Yep. So that shows maybe that's because Decimus is this just, I don't know, body, brute that is just pissed off at us, and he's just,
talking
spouting shit.
Yeah.
Or maybe that is the larger plan, but we still don't know why.
Yeah.
Why they would want to do it, but at least it shows like maybe that is part of the plan, but the motivation, the true motivation still isn't there. Let's see, any trivia that we didn't touch on, David?
Very little. You had a better trivia than I actually had, Colin, to be perfectly honest. So because the trivias are kind of pretty loose these days, but anyway.
Yeah.
It's actually no point. The only trivia really there was that there's a total of 4 prison compounds housing the unit's 3 prisons at level. Each compound mostly contains Hellbringers and Cyclopses. That's the only thing on Halo Wikipedia, which isn't all that interesting.
That's not even trivia. We can go find those ourselves.
Right.
I know. So some of the trivias are like that. They're just points of that's okay.
I feel like the Halopedia people, and we love them, but they do their real good trivia on the mainline games. The other games, it's just little nuggets of that are kind of not that okay. All right, so the Phoenix logs, there's 2 of them, and one will spawn when you destroy the banished base, our neighbors. When you finally destroy that, there's one there that just pops up, and then the other one is down with the 3 prison camps. After you get that second base, so you can go down and grab that. Krista, how are these logs? How's the info?
They're pretty good. So the first one is called "A Split Heart is Easily Conquered," and it's by Orda. It's Val Saham, Sanghili Guard, 2559. This is actually in this mission, because he talks about how the humans found the cartographer. He's kind of admiring us for our courage and skill. He even kind of points out the human leader, or Captain Cutter, and he's like, that guy's really smart. He's doing a good job. And so he knows that the humans are going to go after the portal network next, and that's where he's stationed. On Decimus's orders, he has kind of observed Decimus and his presence on the Ark, and he has kind of that glazed over in awe look, like he kind of recognized from some of his brothers who believed in the Great Journey. So he's worried that Decimus is kind of it's not even really religious views. We're not really sure he's actually religious, but his awe with the Ark is going to take away from his tactical mindset as a warrior. So this guy is like, psh, Decimus is stupid, and he's not gonna do well because his mind is clouded with everything that surrounds him. So that's
like he's more obsessed with just controlling everything.
Yeah, he's just more in
Ark or exploiting it.
He's more in awe of everything around him than he is kind of grounded in reality. He's not grounded in reality. He's looking around at all the Forerunner shit and going, ooh, ah. That's basically what he's saying. So that one was interesting. The next one is Rise of Atriox 3, Oni Section 0. It's D and S again in 2553. These very strange people that we don't know who they are. So S kind of opens this up saying, oh, we know the name of Atriox's capital ship. It's called Enduring Conviction. Atriox has now amassed a huge fleet, and we are worried about that. And kind of D and S go back and forth talking about how the Enduring Conviction was boarded by Atriox. He was thought to be held captive by the Enduring Conviction, but then not too soon after his capture, the Enduring Conviction turned against its other ships and then retreated. And so they're wondering whether, like, did Atriox kill the Sangheili, or did they get the Sangheili to defect from the Covenant? How could you take a person as loyal as any Sangheili? The Sangheili were some of the most loyal warriors in the Covenant. How could you get someone like that to defect from the Covenant? And of course we know Atriox is a smooth talker, but they don't know that, and they're very, very perplexed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that...
It's actually all explained in the comic.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's all in the comics of how he kind of convinces this shipmaster to give him the Enduring Conviction, but... And we see him a little later in the game or in multiplayer or something like that, but he's a cool character. DNS don't know what the hell they're talking about. They should have just read the comic. They would have known. It came out in, like, 2018. It would have been around for years.
Exactly.
But that's it. That's all we got for the Phoenix Logs.
We need to figure out who these DNS people are.
I know. They're a bunch of dumb shits.
There you go. Perfect. All right, David. Let's talk about some Facebook community stuff.
I would love to. Colin Perkins, the admin, July 17th at 3:35 p.m. You return to battle after recovering from injury. What one-liner do you shout out after you get your first kill? Question for mission debrief, Halo Wars 2, Lights Out mission. Alright, Colin. You obviously like the one-liners in this mission. We have a lot of comments. Oh my god, I should have pre-rolled these. My apologies.
Well, it's good.
Okay.
It's great. Love it.
Yeah, good stuff. Right, here we go. Matthew. Get up so I can kill you again. Brad. How? Ha! Now I can drop this shit in you and not a bedpan? Oh, nasty. Ryan. Just kill the brute and put a gun against his head and pull the trigger and now he's dead. Brad. Another sacrifice to the Beard King David. Ooh, I like this. Alan. All hail King David.
Hey, what the hell's going on? Alright, I'm deleting
this.
the Facebook group.
It's a good question. Colin. I like it. Patch says, in the name of the Beard King, I shall slay thee.
Alright, Facebook's getting deleted now, guys. Bye-bye. I'm Thanosing everyone in there.
You guys are getting some care. That care emoji and putting it all in the comments. Because they're amazing. They're good comments. Thomas says, Killtacular. Luke says, I always like to say boom, headshot, or in a grunt voice, yay, or double kill. Manny says, I did not mean to blow your mind, but that shit happens to me all the time. That's pretty good, Manny. Sam says, people keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer, but yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. Hell yeah, Sam. John Wick quote. It's awesome. Alan comes back. Yep, still got it. Lucas has a meme. Oh no, we got pictures. It's Bill Gates. Damn, it feels good to be a gangster. We got the I'm back from the Shinnin from Brad. We have Storm. Hasta la vista, baby. That's pretty good. Stop exploding, you cowards, from Trent. Ethan says, even if you don't want to know, I'll tell you who I am. I'm one of the strongest warriors in space. I am Spartan. 133. No, I hear that. No, I'm not doing this. No, I hate that. Stupid Spartan. Where's everyone going? I just want to play, says Jesse. Tyler says, the cave I made in your skull is not a natural formation. Oh, that's really good. That's really good. Chris says, guess who's back? Back again. Chiefy's back. Tell a friend.
Oh, no.
Ben says, oh no, Ben. Take that, cunt.
Oh,
I said it.
He
Not
said
a
the C word.
friendly word. He said it.
Oh, no.
Ben
We're
dropped
getting
it down.
demonetized. We're not even monetized.
Jason says, I came back for this. Patrick says, did you think me defeated? Oh, that was really good. Brad chimed in, where it's so easy. Charles says, you get a bullet. Everybody gets a bullet. Richard said, I'll be back. Wait, I'm back. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. And then finally, Martin says, come back, kill, said in the Halo multiplayer voice.
Yeah. That's a good way to end it.
There's a lot of great ones in there, actually.
Yeah.
Fair play, guys.
Well done, Facebook.
Came out of the woodwork with some good one-liners.
And then we got a little rivalry going here, too, with the
I
Beard
know.
Man.
A little bit of love. It's alright.
Love it. What Discord have to say?
They said some funny things. Rye wins because he says, 'tis only but a flesh wound. Very good. 10 out of 10 for that one. Thombbomb says, I need some blood flowing. Maybe kicking your ass would help. Prophet of Rhyme says, I am green and very, very mean. We have Lord Beerman, which says, whilst still in my hospital gown, not cleared for duty my ass.
Yeah. With his, like, ass hanging out. I love it.
Blue Calc says, I lived, bitch. UNSC Brexit says, lights out, guns out. Jedi Spartan says, usually the good Lord works in mysterious ways, but not today. Or, Spartans never die, we're just respawning. Claptrack says, you just hear a Payday 2 choker noise. I don't know what that is. I've never played Payday 2.
I wanted to, but never have.
No, I've never played it.
Prophet of Ryan says, alright, Ping Beardy, you fucking weeb. Don't know what that is.
Whoa.
Matt...
It's aggressive.
I know. Matt says, told you I'd be back. Garkin says, Omaiwa mo shindeyu, which is great. I like that one. It means you're already dead. It's very good. Back to Ian says, I don't do bits and pieces, but you do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Is that our Ian?
Yes. His new name is Back to Ian. I'm not sure. I guess it is Back to Ian.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
It was Bunny.
I liked Bunny better. Dezudo says, a sphincter says what?
What?
Eh!
Oh.
Chicken Tendy says, surprise crab face. Hector says, I, Sergeant Hector, knock a hunter out with just one punch. Then comes, you got sarged, motherfucker! And then finally, Barlett King says, oh, I know what the Covey's like. Very good.
That's
Not
good.
Coveys. They're the banished.
They're the banished. That's all we got.
Multiple Covenant mentions in the banished mission. Man,
I know. I
What's
started this horrible
happening?
trend. I'm sorry.
it's happening, people. All right, that'll do it for our debriefing of the Lights Out mission from Halo Wars 2. On the next episode, we'll be covering From the Deep. Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. You can also support the show by visiting Podcast Evolved on Patreon. And don't forget that free audiobook trial. Visit audibletrial.com/podcastevolved. Until next time, evolve.
Evolve.
Evolve.